trade, political stability, human capital. These are the mainstays of economy. While climate may have huge impacts when it comes to natural disasters, it does not fall in the list of these major determinants of a country's potential to grow. It's like a mere lurking reality, which is similar for both the developing and the developed countries. On the contrary, developing countries could be even more resilient when it comes to face challenges, economic or otherwise, because of their sheer adaptability. And let's take India as the biggest example, whether it's about international solar mission or mission life or understanding the idea of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam while sending vaccines out to the world when these so-called developed nations were locking borders during the pandemic. We are showing the world a sustainable way of life, and this brings me to the third aspect, sustainability. First, sustainability is an umbrella term that engulfs the idea of human capital, development, harmony with nature, everything. But today, the biggest roadblock towards sustainability is not nature or climate, it's the developed countries. It's not hidden from the world that these developed countries have always exploited the developing ones for their own benefit. Throughout 2021, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, and other developing countries continued to receive much of Europe's plastic trash, and might I add, illegally. This is then the same group which then preaches to the developing world how they should change their ways to curb these climate crises at hand, how they should not work for their economic development, not establish factories. Well, because these developed countries did it in the 18th century and now this world is burning or drowning. Reminds me of the words by the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, when she said that she wants richer countries to stop throwing garbage in her yard and then telling her to clean it up. And finally, the sustainability of developing countries in the global race of today. It's strange how even in the midst of trembling world with starving populations, healthcare inadequacies...
You'll have to conclude, Vasu. Your time is up. You can complete the sentence though.
Yeah. We dare quantify the importance of who got rank 1. It seems elitist and insensitive at best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will call the next speaker now. And also a request to the audience. I know it's been a long day and all of you have been very patient and very cooperative, but I would request that we have just the last few speakers, so do maintain silence, because otherwise the speakers may get disturbed. The next speaker is Vedika Das. She will speak for the motion. She is from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Guwahati. Please wait for the bell. Yeah? Is your mic working?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear.
Taking up
Proceed.
from such eminent speakers is a difficult task, but I'll try to do it to the best of my ability. Climate crisis unites countries. Climate change might have a small role. The finger should be pointed towards developed countries. Dhritarashtra was inefficient. Climate does not come under the major developing goals of a country. Finally, be positive about climate crisis are some of the statements made by the opposition. Greetings to everyone present here, Speaker Sir and the House. The clouds indeed have undoubtedly cried listening to the other side of the bench. Allow me to give an example. Have you heard about the boiling frog syndrome? That is, if you place a frog in boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if you gradually heat it in water, it doesn't notice the change until it's too late, thereby boiling to death. This story is an urban myth, but I brought it up today because it reminds me of a real-world problem, climate crisis. Do you know, we can simply end this argument with a single crucial question. If we don't even survive due to climate crisis, who will conduct geopolitics? Who will look after economies? Where will sustainability find its place in a world on the brink of collapse? But it's a different thing that the opposition might now state. Let's be positive about underwater interactions and make out a startup with fishes. Sounds interesting? Not to me. My speech is also not divided into parts like the other speakers in form of mere rhetorics, but is simply an assimilation of various inconsistencies that need to be addressed now. Firstly, it's crucial to recognize our global interconnectedness. We should know when one ecosystem suffers, that same effect impacts the others too, much like how a glue binds everything together. Now let us get into the most critical aspect, the facts. 2010 to 19 saw temperature 0.36 degree above average, being the hottest decade. India being fifth in the world's most vulnerable countries. Coastal erosion led to the loss of 235 square kilometers of land from 1990 to 2016. The recent Himachal Pradesh rain fury caused 71 deaths, losses worth 10,000 crore economy. But believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, on a lighter note, the facts being presented in this grand enterprise will soon be forgotten, just like how we forget about the timer that starts before we say 3, 2, 1, after which our tone completely changes, isn't it? If not, the simple question I'm asking myself is, what else are we here to ready to forget? Talking about UN resolutions, 45s to 94, 70s to 1, 3775, 44s to 2028. Basically, we talk about the common goal, that is to work for environmental protection and sustainable development. I don't know about others, with due respect, but there's just 1% I'd like to highlight on that. Disasters cannot be stopped, but the additional factors contributing to it can be. Listening to the opposition, I also realized that not only policies, not only measures, but the mindset of each of us present here needs to be changed. They say the earth is dying. No, sir. The simple realization is that the earth is not dying. It is being killed, and those who are killing it have names and addresses. Let us not rest the case here. Let us stand in the sound of unity and protect the environment until it is heard across the world. Just as we united in our struggle for freedom, let us together unite in our fight to climate crisis by even taking smallest of the steps for the well-being of the global race and future generations. I'd like to conclude with a few lines of my own composition. That is, in the face of climate crisis, we unite as one. For our forefathers' dream, let it not be undone. Together we stand in this fight, hand in hand. Opposition do head the cell. Let's for once heal the land. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vedika. The next speaker is Julian Ethan Cooper Lindo. She will speak Julian, yeah, okay. So he'll speak against the motion, and he's from St. Anthony's College, Shillong. Somebody has left his or her mobile. A previous speaker who spoke left the mobile.
Can the honorable timekeeper start the time when I hit what? 3, 2, 1, go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished jury members, and Mr. Speaker. I seem here to be one of the last speakers for the day, but I would go by the notion that good guys always finish last. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you here today to argue against this motion. Now, while climate is an undoubtedly a significant issue, I will present this perspective that its effects are not as far-reaching or immediate as the Treasury bench had asserted. Mr. Speaker, when I look at the topic, it is quite a lengthy topic, but there are a few key words which pop out, namely geopolitics, economics, and sustainability. And I shall begin in the first order, that is geopolitics. Unlike some members of the Treasury bench, which is quite indicative of their views on this topic. Mr. Speaker, nothing will amuse me more today than the complete failure of the Treasury bench to acknowledge that geopolitics is shaped not only by climate crisis, but it's actually shaped by a multitude of factors, including historical alliances, economic interests, and political ideologies. Now, while climate crisis can exacerbate existing challenges, it is not the primary driver of geopolitical dynamics. According to a global peace index, geopolitical instability is influenced more by political factors and socio-economic conditions rather than climate-related issues. So the next time India and Pakistan have peace talks, I expect them to talk more about their security concerns rather than tomatoes. Mr. Speaker, secondly, according to a report by the World Bank, it was stated that over the next 2 years, per capita income growth in emerging markets and developing economies is projected to average only just 2.8%, a full percentage point lower than what it averaged during the last decade. Now, why do we see this? It is because the major cause of the economic challenges faced by the developing nations, they stem from a majority of the factors such as infrastructure gaps, trade imbalances, like one member of my bench had previously stated. But Mr. Speaker, despite all of these challenges, developing societies have displayed resilience and adaptability to face these economic challenges, including those exacerbated by the climate change. For example, India, despite facing many climate change challenges as stated by the members of the Treasury bench, it has consistently maintained a strong economic growth. According to the World Bank, India's GDP rate averaged 7.16% in the last decade. And I consider myself proud to be a citizen of the 5th largest economy in the world. Mr. Speaker, India, of course, we know that its majority is an agrarian economy, but it has diversified into various sectors, including technology, pharmaceutical, and other services. This diversification has reduced its dependence on climate-sensitive industries, providing a buffer against climate-induced shocks, as stated by one of the members of the Treasury bench. In conclusion, while the climate crisis is undoubtedly a significant global challenge, it is essential to avoid hyperbolic characterization of its impact on developing societies like India. These nations have demonstrated their resilience and adaptability to face various challenges, including those exacerbated by climate change. We, the Indian people, we have survived and adapted through partition, through the Indo-Pak wars, through the Indo-China wars, and through COVID pandemics. And we shall continue to adapt and be resilient even in the face of climate crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. We have 2 more speakers. In fact, all this while I was following a certain logic of asking one who spoke for the motion and alternating between people who spoke for the motion and against the motion. But now I have 2 speakers. The first is, the immediate speaker is Supriya Bora, who will speak against the motion, and she's from Lady King College, Shillong. Supriya Bora.
Hello.
Yeah, it is working. Yeah, so just wait for the timekeeper to press the bell and you can proceed.
Greetings to the House at large. I stand here to firmly oppose the motion that climate change affects the developing countries like India. Climate change is a myth when they see it as a threat, as it is a natural process. We have to go in depth or in the grassroots level to understand that having a climate crisis is a myth rather than it is an anthropogenic or man-made factor. Natural forces influence climate change. This has been true throughout the Earth's history, and it's still true today. Climate scientists know this. In fact, it is by studying a natural climate-changing forces that we understand much of what we know about human-caused climate. So not only are climate scientists aware of these natural cycles, they discovered most of them. But natural forces cannot account for the speed and scale of climate change. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, particularly from the second half of the 20th century to today, to explain that, we have to add one more factor to the equation, that is us, ourselves. The climate change is a political issue too, globally, so as to increase the economy of their own, to hide from the things they themselves did to cause the man-made climate that is affecting everyone globally. Developed countries should have been more responsible in their preparations because they were the ones who have been exploiting nature the most. And to just say that developing countries will bear the brunt of the effects of the climate pattern changing is very naive. What happens in the developing countries is going to be even worse effect on the developed countries. This absorbing and the re-radiating of heat by the atmosphere, that is the greenhouse effect, can be a good thing too. Of course, on the other hand, if there is extra greenhouse effect, like say from the addition of a bunch more greenhouse gases that are released from the fossil fuels we burn like coals and oils, while manufacturing of cement that we use to make our houses, lodging and development, that have also led to the widespread destruction of forests, wetlands, and other carbon sinks. And right now, most atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases like the carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are the highest they have been in the last 800,000 years. Some greenhouse gases like hydrochlorofluorocarbons do not even exist in the nature. By continuously pumping these gases on the air, we have raised Earth's average temperature by about 1.9 degrees Fahrenheit during the 20th century, which has brought us to our current era of deadly and increasingly routine weather extremes. And it's important to note that while climate change affects everyone in some way, it doesn't do so equally. All over the world, people of color and those living in economically disadvantaged or politically marginalized communities bear a much larger burden, despite the fact that these communities play a much smaller role in warming the planet. Our ways of generating power for electricity, heat, and transportation, our built environment industries, our ways of interacting with the land, and our consumption habits together serve as the primary drivers of climate change. Our needs, our demands, our priorities. Winning the fight against climate change will require us to rethink those needs, ramp up those demands, and reset those priorities. Thank you, House.
I have the last speaker, and it's by coincidence that the first speaker was from Assam Engineering College. The last one is Xli Barooah from Assam Engineering College again. So AAC got to start the debate, and AAC is ending the debate. And that too for and against. Xli will speak against the motion, and she's from Assam Engineering College.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
A very good evening, Honorable Speaker, sir, all my esteemed debaters, and all members of the House. It's been a long day, and I will spare you guys yet another reiteration of the whole debate, which is right there. The motion does not require repetition today. I would first of all like to say, when the proposition here says developing society or developing nations, developing countries, what do they mean? Do they mean the country with an economy with a GDP of 18 trillion US dollars? Or do they mean the country where sex change surgery is free under the public health systems? Or do they mean the country that just last month landed on the south pole of the moon for the very first time? Honorable Speaker, so before we start, and we already have, in fact, a lot debated upon the implications and the possible ramifications of climate change. But to quote Jaden Smith, can we talk about the political and economic state of the world right now? Our global growth has been at its slowest since 2001 and is projected to get slower, from 6% to 3.2% to now a staggering 2.7%. And why is that? Because of COVID. Because we went through COVID, and Honorable Speaker, sir, I would like to repeat this. We have gone through an entire pandemic together. What I'm saying is, we talk about the climate crisis and about the climate change as if it was some inevitable and impending doom that is going to befall us and we can't do anything about it. These are all the dramatics and the dystopian views brought forward by the proposition to prove their point. But in reality, what our climate will really look like in the next 50 to 100 years depends on what we do now. These far-reaching consequences which we are talking about have only started to exist because we have let the scenario become this bad. Honorable Speaker, sir, among all these bleak stories that are told by the proposition, which I would not like to repeat, allow me to show you a ray of hope. Have you noticed how nobody talks about the ozone layer anymore? When I was a kid, it was all the rage. It was a trending buzzword to talk about the ozone layer, that we have a giant hole in our ozone layer and the UV rays are going to give everyone cancer. But we don't hear people talking about it anymore. Why is that? Let me tell you about the Montreal Protocol, which, according to the past General Secretary of UN, has been, I quote, the single most successful international agreement to date. The Montreal Protocol, in which a lot of governments came together and vowed to protect the ozone layer. Somebody mentioned chlorofluorocarbons, but it really shocked me how they did not mention this success from humanity, that we have started protecting the ozone layer. And in 2016, their last session of the Montreal Protocol also proved and came up with some studies in 2021, how it has not only protected the ozone layer, but also given a lot of, unseen before positive effects to the environment, and has been taking care of a lot of things. We are only 1.1 degrees centigrade warmer than we were in the pre-industrial times. And the main key point of our motion today, which is geopolitics and economy, are subject to adaptation. USA, which every year goes through huge hurricanes and tsunamis, Saudi Arabia, with which is deserts and its arid land, these countries have used it to their advantage because their leaders are held answerable. Essentially, their economies have not only adapted, but also benefited of the impacts of the climate system. And now, I would like to say, Honorable Speaker, sir, it's India's turn to step up and to take those big decisions, to pivot our growth upon the fulcrum of sustainability. Because climate crisis is going to affect everyone, but our economy should not be at crossfires with the environment, which will lead to what happened in the Sri Lanka debacle. India, I would like to finally say, India has no excuse to not be moving forward in the global race today. No, not even the climate crisis. My stance. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You just finished on time, Utkarsha. So we've had a very long day, fairly long day, not a very long day, fairly long day. The best part of being a speaker is that, you're completely neutral. You don't have to take this side or that side. Both sides spoke so well. I was just wondering that if I were to judge this, I would have been in real trouble. I wouldn't have been able to mark anyone. So I think that difficult part is being done by our esteemed judges, panel of 3 judges. The sense of the House is that from all the speakers, I think we've heard over 50 speakers through the day. Many of them have spoken very passionately for their position, arguing why why this is the time to protect Mother Earth, our planet, because there is no plan B or there is no planet B. There have been equally forceful speakers on the other side who have given their position as to why they think that the formulation that developing countries are affected more may not be appropriate, because the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, it affects everyone, whether we live in the US or we live in India. So congratulations to all of you for making very forceful points. I shall wait for the judges to give their, verdict, and they shall also explain. So, the mover of the motion can wrap up the debate. The first mover of the motion gets to wrap up the debate. He will get 2 minutes, but this will not be considered for evaluation. Please note, this is not considered for evaluation. All the participants, please note, the mover of the motion will wrap the debate, but he does not get to, this is not part of the evaluation process. Yes, please.
Standing here for the second time today, I am very sure, if nothing, I'll go with a plethora of knowledge and as a more developed person than I walked in as. A very warm good evening to everyone present in this August gathering. Both the proposition and opposition parties tried their level best to prove their point in front of this House today. Now, it is up for the House to decide who has been able to convince them. But I must mention that climate crisis has indeed far-reaching implications on geopolitics, economies, and sustainability, particularly for the developing nations like India in the global race today. Climate crisis affects developing societies by increasing the migrations, prices, and threatening the food security. And lastly, I would like to mention we should take actions with utmost urgency because, as honorable speakers I have already mentioned, and as Mike Berners-Lee said, and I quote, "There is no plan B because there is no planet B." Thank you.
Thank you. Now I await the evaluation process by the judges.
What an enriching and engaging debate. Well, today's debate competition has reiterated and re-emphasized why Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition is considered one of the most reputed debate competitions in the entire country. With intellectual deliberations, logical arguments from the students from across different parts of the country, we really believe that our country is in appropriate hands. Our results for the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition are being evaluated. We'll declare the results in a short while. The results of today's debate competition will be in 4 categories: Best Debating Team, Second Best Debating Team, Best Debater, Second Best Debater, and Best Interjector. The best debating team would get a trophy and a cash prize of 25,000 rupees. The second best debating team would also get a trophy and a cash prize of rupees 15,000. The best debater of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition would get a trophy and a cash prize amounting rupees 20,000. The second best debater of today's debate competition would get a trophy and a cash amount of rupees 10,000. And the best interjector of today's debate competition would get a memento and a cash prize of rupees 2,000. We will declare the results of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition in a while. I request everyone present in the auditorium to kindly take their respective seats. I would like to repeat, today we'll be having winners in 4 categories: Best Debating Team, Second Best Debating Team, Best Debater, Second Best Debater, and Best Interjector.
Check, 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 check.
Good evening, everyone. So we'll be declaring the results soon, and I request our cultural team to be ready so that we can start the cultural evening within half an hour. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the results of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition is in my hands. Much awaited. But before we announce the winners of today's debate competition, I would like to request one of our esteemed jury members, Dr. Kumatati, to kindly express his views on today's debate competition. Sir.
A very good evening to all of you, respected faculty members and students and from participants from various colleges and universities across the country. First I would like to mention here that it's just like a homecoming after almost 21 years, because I was also a student here and we also organized the same MCB debate during our college days. So when I entered the hall around 9:45, I was just looking around the students, their faces, how enthusiastic they are, and it's kind of a very good feeling and very at the same time little bit sad feeling also that our times has gone. So I have never participated this debate competition, but from the organizer side we have planned, we have executed, then we have discussed, lot of things were there. So when I have first got to know that this time I have to be one of the jury members alongside two renowned figures, basically three renowned figures. I have never met speaker sir here, although I knew him from long time. And I was amazed how calmly and how systematically he is conducting the whole program today. So at this occasion, I would like to thank him from the judges' side or from the panel of the jury. And it was a very great working with him today. And secondly, I would like to mention here that the other two respective judges, they're very respectable persons in their field. I know Teresa Baido from long time, but today only I first met Kajol Saikia sir, and it was very great feeling to work with them. We have, in between, we have discussed about participants, we have discussed about the topics and all while doing the judgment or while doing the evaluation part. So I would like to thank them also for very cordial and very accommodative also and very patient also all the time. Says we started around 11 and we finished around 5. So I would like to thank them also from core of my heart. Now coming to the evaluation part, when we have received the sheet, then we have discussed how we'll make the judgment or make the evaluation part. So I just would like to just mention few points for the participants. Basically, for this basically for last so many years when I have attended various debate competitions and basically from the spectator side. So my point, first thing is that rather than going into jargons, rather than going into statistics, rather than going into what other people talk about it, so it is our call, what I feel about it, what I have my own argument. So that is my first suggestion to the participants, that you should be that person that you have to put forward your own argument. That is the first thing from my personal view. People may differ also. And the second thing that I would like to mention here, what we have observed, whatever the topic is quite confusing also at the same time. And lot of participants were very they actually, among the jargons, among the arguments, whatever they have put forward, sometimes they confuse us also. So second thing, what I want to tell the participants, that you should do your homework in a very systematic manner before coming to any debate or before coming to any discussion. So it is the homework, it is your own study that makes the difference. And that we have found out also, who has studied well, who has done the homework. And last but not the least, that I would like to mention here today, that is, we got 4 minutes of time, and within that 4 minutes, we had to establish our points, have to establish our argument. So in that scenario also, you have to be very crisp, you have to be very final judgment, final takeaway from your homework. That only you should present actually. So rather than going into statistics, rather than going to some reports, so from whatever studies you have done, whatever things you have read or whatever preparations you have made, it is basically within that 4 minutes, you have to establish your point, you have to put the argument. Otherwise, nobody, say for example, we have said 4 minutes. Why 4 minutes? Within that 4 minutes, how crisp or how you have to give a vision to the audience. You have to give a vision to the judges or juries or whoever is watching this debate. So these are the 3 points I wanted to make, and I wish all the participants their best, because last but not the least, it is a topic of my personal interest also. I have been working in climate science and climate issues from long time, and I'm very happy that Cotton University has taken this lead to organize a climate debate. I call it a climate debate now. So I thank all the members of Cotton University for organizing this engaging and very intriguing debate today. On very relevant discussion were made. Very lot of students have showed their arguments, and we are also benefited at the same time. So anyway, I would like to thank all of you, and we have put the judgment, we have put the evaluation part, we have carefully selected, carefully calculated every points, every numbers. So I hope you will all be happy with the results. And it is not about the best debater or second best debater or the best team. It is about your participation, which is the most unique part that I have felt. So all of you, almost around more than 50 participants were there. So I wish all of them best wishes, and I wish them they will keep on doing this kind of debates. They will continue to work on, they will do the homework, they will go for other various debates, not only in Guwahati, various places, and they will learn in the process. It's a kind of a knowledge gathering, it's a part of a learning process. So I wish all the participants who have spoke here today, maybe on the treasury side or maybe on the opposition side. It is a great learning experience for us also, for yours, for all the participants also. And lastly, I just would like to thank all the people here right now who are in the hall. I would like to thank them. Since morning you were waiting here, listening to the students, young minds. So I would like to thank all the non-participants, all the people who are involved, all the organizers from our panel of jury. Thank you so much.
Indeed, participation itself is winning. Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful words. I believe our student members will remember the points underlined by sir with regard to participating in any debate competition. So now, the time has come. We are going to announce the results of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Debate Competition. And as I already mentioned, we have winners in 4 categories today. The best debating team, second best debating team, best debater, second best debater, and best interjector. So we'd like to start from announcing the best interjector of today's debate competition, and the award goes to Ankita Sharma Bordoloi of Cotton University. She gets a memento and a cash prize of rupees 2,000. I request Dr. Debojyoti Barooah to kindly give away the award to Ankita. Ankita Sharma Bordoloi receives the best interjector of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition. A big round of applause for Ankita. We now move on to declaring the second best debater of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Debate Competition. And the winner is Sanjana Rani of St. Edmund's College, Shillong. Sanjana Rani of St. Edmund's College, Shillong. And I request the DSW, Director Students Welfare, Dr. Prasanta Sharma sir, to kindly come up and give away the prize to Sanjana Rani. The second best debater award goes to Sanjana Rani of St. Edmund's College, Shillong. Anybody from St. Edmund's College, Shillong, who could receive Sanjana's award? There's no one. Anyway, so we'll continue with our next award, which is the Best Debater Award. The Best Debater Award goes to Muhammad Hassan Sabrin Rahman of Sibsagar Commerce College, Sibsagar. The best debater of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition goes to Muhammad Hassan Sabrin Rahman of Sibsagar Commerce College, Sibsagar. A big round of applause for Hassan Sabrin Rahman. I request Dr. Suresh Kumar Nath, Library in Charge of Cotton University and Associate Professor, Department of Economics, to kindly come up to the dais and give away this award to Muhammad Hassan Sabrin Rahman. A big round of applause. Now we move on to announcing the second best team of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition. And the award goes to Hindu College, University of Delhi, comprising of Masum Priya and Vasu Khajuria. The second best team award goes to Hindu College, University of Delhi, comprising of Masum Priya and Vasu Khajuria. I would like to request the speaker of today's debate competition, Mr. Sandeep Phukan sir, to kindly come up to the dais and give away the award. I request Mr. Sandeep Phukan sir to stay back on the stage as we declare the best team of the 41st Manik Chandra Barooah Memorial National Level Debate Competition. So this year, the best team award goes to St. Edmund's College, Shillong, comprising of Shriyasi Bedashruti and Sanjana Rani. So the best team award goes to St. Edmund's College, Shillong, comprising of Shriyasi Vedashruti and Sanjana Rani. I request them to kindly come up to the dais for receiving the award. They might have left. Thank you, sir. So with this, we come to the end of today's debate competition. Indeed, it was an engaging and enriching experience, I believe, for all of us, with intellectual deliberations, logical arguments, and fertile minds coming together. Today's debate competition certainly had been very, very fruitful for every one of us. Now, we have our cultural program for the invited guests, student participants, the esteemed members of the jury, and everyone present here. So kindly stay back and enjoy the cultural performance to be performed by the students of Cotton University. Thank you.
check, check.
এটা কাম কৰক এইটো অলপমান ইফালে টানক এনেকুৱাকৈ টানক যদি থাকে হৈ যাব এক ছেকেণ্ড অলপ আগলৈ নিয়ক হ'বনে
আজিৰ মুখ্য আকৰ্ষণ সাংস্কৃতিক সন্ধ্যালৈ সকলোকে স্বাগতম জনাইছোঁ সমূহ দৰ্শকক নিজৰ নিজৰ আসনসমূহ গ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ আমি অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ ধন্যবাদ সমূহ দৰ্শকক নিজৰ নিজৰ আসনসমূহ গ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ 41 সংখ্যক মানিক চন্দ্ৰ বৰুৱা সোঁৱৰণী তৰ্ক প্ৰতিযোগিতাৰ লগত সংগতি ৰাখি অনুষ্ঠিত কৰা সাংস্কৃতিক সন্ধ্যালৈ মই হৃদয়দীপ গগৈ
আৰু মই অনন্যা শইকীয়াই সকলোকে স্বাগতম জনাইছোঁ সুন্দৰে যি ফুলাৰ মন্ত্ৰ আহুৰাত্ৰি মাতে সেয়েহে আজি ইমান ফুল প্ৰভাতে প্ৰভাতে আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানত উপস্থিত শ্ৰদ্ধাৰ শিক্ষাগুৰুসকল ভাৰতৰ বিভিন্ন প্ৰান্তৰ আগশাৰীৰ শিক্ষানুষ্ঠানৰ প্ৰতিযোগীসকল কটন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰ লগতে সমূহ পৰিয়ালবৰ্গক আমি স্বাগতম জনাইছোঁ বহু প্ৰত্যাশিত এই ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় পৰ্যায়ৰ তৰ্ক প্ৰতিযোগিতাখন সাফল্যমণ্ডিত কৰাত আপোনালোকৰ অৱদান লেখত ল'বলগীয়া
কটন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলৰ দ্বাৰা আয়োজন কৰা সাংস্কৃতিক সন্ধিয়াটো যাতে সাফল্যমণ্ডিত কৰাত আপোনালোকে সমানে সহায় সহযোগিতা আগবঢ়ায় তাকে কামনা কৰিলোঁ।
ভাৰতৰ শাস্ত্ৰীয় নৃত্যৰ মৰ্যাদা লাভ কৰা সত্ৰীয়া নৃত্য মহাপুৰুষ দুজনাই প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰা সত্ৰসমূহৰ যোগেদি প্ৰচলিত। এই সত্ৰীয়া নৃত্য গীত আৰু অভিনয়ক সহায়ক হিচাপে লৈ প্ৰদৰ্শন কৰা হয়। আহক এইবাৰ আমি উপভোগ কৰোঁ মহাপুৰুষ শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱৰ অংকীয়া নাট কেলিগোপালৰ আধাৰত নিৰ্মিত নৃত্য নাটিকা। পৰিৱেশন কৰিব
অৰিঞ্জিতা বৰা, মাম্পী বনিয়া, প্ৰীতি মল্লিকা খনিকৰ, দেৱস্মিতা বৰুৱা, লিপশিখা বৰা, অনন্যা মহন্ত, অনুশ্ৰী মহন্ত, সুকৃতি বড়ো, হিয়া ডেকা, তমাশা চহৰীয়া, ৰিমজিম চেতিয়া, ঋষিৰাজ ৰাজবংশী, কেন্দিতা আলিয়াম, কাৰ্বৰী হাজৰিকা, প্ৰত্যাশা শৰ্মা, নয়না বৰা, লিজা কাশ্যপ। সংগীত পৰিচালনা কৰিছে কণ্ঠত দিশা পাঠক, সুকন্যা মহন্ত, ত্ৰিনয়ন ডেকা। খোলত আছে গৌৰাংগ বৰদলৈ, চিত্ৰপৱন দাস, তালত নিশান কাশ্যপ, ভায়লিনত সংযুক্তা ফুকন আৰু বাঁহীত পল্লৱ দাস আৰু সীমান্ত মেধি।
Keligopal is a mesmerizing play that transports its audience to the enchanting realm of Vrindavan during the glorious night of Purnima, the full moon, in the autumn season known as Horot in Assam. It vividly portrays the divine and passionate union of Lord Krishna and his beloved gopis, the 1600 female devotees of Krishna who resided in Brajadham. Written by the eminent figure of spiritual and cultural heritage, Mahapurush Srimanta Shankardeva, Keligopal is one of the 6 Ankiyanats, all inspired by the Vaishnavite movement. The play beautifully intertwines themes of devotion, bhakti, with emotions such as love, shringar, sorrow, karuna, and bravery, veera. It also provides glimpses of the other 9 rasas, or moods, creating a rich tapestry of human experience. This performance is a heartfelt tribute to the mighty soul, Lord Krishna, whose divine efforts continue to heal the world. It invites the audience to immerse themselves in the magic of this timeless story, where love, devotion, and the pursuit of the divine comes together in a symphony of emotions and faith. Let us immerse ourselves in the glory of Lord Krishna and welcome our performers. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hello, check. Hello, check.
Hello, hello.
When it is the glorious night of Purnima or full moon, and it is the season of Sharat, it is the time to celebrate the union of Lord Shri Krishna and his beloved gopis, which has been termed as Ras Leela. Keli Gopal, one of the 6 Onkya Nats of Mahapurush Srimanta Shonkordev, is a play written on the Ras Leela of Lord Shri Krishna and the gopis, that is the 1600 female devotees of Krishna, who were the residents of Brajadham, including both married and unmarried women. This play has been enriched with Shringar, that is love, Karuna, that is sorrow, and Veera, that is bravery, along with glimpses of all the other 9 rasas, vabhas, and vibhavas. Today, this Satriya dance performance, based on Keli Gopal, celebrates the love and devotion of gopis towards Krishna and all that they had to tackle and overcome, be it the fear of losing their loyalty or their own ego. Whatever they had to face to get back the love from Krishna and achieve the realm of bhakti, that is union of the Atma and the Paramatma. Here comes the gopis of Brajadham towards Vrindavan, searching for Krishna in the light of Purnima, attracted by the melody of Shri Krishna's flute.